In this session, we are going to see about the details about the conquest of Mysore by the British. Broadly, in this session, we see about the successor state of Vijayanagara Empire and two important administrators of the Mysore state. One is Hyder Ali, second one Tipu Sultan. These two people, these two administrators fought four wars with the British, and finally Tipu Sultan was killed in 4th Anglo-Mysore War. And with this, most of the territories went into the hands of the British and left a small portion for the successors of Vijayanagara Empire. The Vijayanagara Empire during 16th century, Sri Krishna Devaraya was one of the most powerful rulers of not only in South India but in the entire Indian subcontinent. Even Babur himself identifies in his Tujki Babari that Sri Krishna Devaraya was the most powerful ruler of India. He created during his administration Mysore province with Srirangapatnam as the capital. So it was the beginning of Mysore state. But after 1565, during 1565 Battle of Tallikota took place, and after this battle the Vijayanagara Empire was decimated by the Deccan Sultans. And after this battle, after this debacle, Wadayar rulers declared independence from the administration of Vijayanagara Empire. By 1761, Hyder Ali assumed the authority after revolting against Wadayars. So this is broadly the evolution of Mysore state. Let us see the map here. Sri Krishna Devaraya, the time period of Sri Krishna Devaraya is 1509 to 1529. This is the time period of Sri Krishna Devaraya, and this is also the time period when Portuguese captured Goa from Bijapur Sultanate. Bahmani Sultanate divided into different kingdoms or different sultanates. One was Bijapur, Golconda, Ahmednagar, Berar and Bidar. This is small one, Bidar. Now, all these, after the death of Sri Krishna Devaraya, successors of Vijayanagara Empire were also weak. After 1565, in 1565, there was a battle, that is Battle of Tallikota. In this, all these five sultanates formed an alliance and fought against the Vijayanagara Empire. Vijayanagara Empire was decimated. Now the territories of Vijayanagara Empire were distributed among the victors. Some of these territories were taken by Bijapur, some were taken by Golconda. Now take this for example. This was Vijayanagara Empire. When Vijayanagara Empire, many of these areas were under Vijayanagara Empire. After Battle of Tallikota, some were taken by, this is Bijapur. Bijapur expanded into the territories of Vijayanagara. Golconda expanded into the territories of Vijayanagara Empire, and this one, Tanjavur, Madurai, Nayakas also established their small kingdoms. Tanjavur, Madurai, Nayakas. This is Travancore, and this one, a small one, this is Mysore. So after 1565, the entire Vijayanagara Empire divided into different parts. Some parts were taken by Bijapur and Golconda. Some parts, independent kingdoms emerged. Out of this, Mysore was one among it. In Mysore, Wadayar dynasty was ruling this region. In 1784, this was the Mysore. This is the Mysore kingdom. 1784 means Tipu Sultan and Hyder Ali expanded some of these territories during their administration. So this is the broad description and evolution of Mysore state. Now these Wadayars were weak rulers, and as we have seen in previous sessions, the condition of Mughal emperors. Mughal emperors were very weak. Whenever there is weak emperor, the ministers or nobles or the administrators, they try to take advantage of the weak ruler and they try to gain more power at the cost of the powers of the prince or the ruler. Similarly, in case of Wadayar also happened the same. Here, the ministers were gaining more prominence. The ruler himself was very weak. During this time period, in 1720s and 1730s, the major threat for Mysore state, was coming in the form of Marathas. So Marathas were gaining prominence under Peshwas. This is an interesting development during 18th century. In 18th century, here we can see in Pune also, in case of Marathas also, the ruler was weak. The ruler of Maratha region, Shahu Chhatrapati, he was weak, whereas his ministers, the minister Peshwa means prime minister, he was more powerful. He was controlling the Maratha empire. So here also ministers were enjoying more power, and in the case of Mughal emperors also, the ministers were enjoying more power. And here also ministers were enjoying more power. Now under Bajirao Peshwa, Bajirao I, these areas were under threat from Marathas. At the same time, Nizam also trying to expand his territories at the cost of Mysore. And in the eastern side, Arcot Nawab was trying to expand his territories at the cost of Mysore. So this will happen whenever there is weak ruler. His territories are going to be annexed by the neighboring kingdoms. So Mysore is not a special one. Mysore condition was also weak. Now naturally, whenever there is a weak ruler in any kingdom, his neighbors are going to attack the territories. Now Marathas, Nizam, Arcot, they were trying to gain prominence, or they were trying to get as much territory as possible from Mysore state. Now ministers, they were indulging in self-interest. Now they could not handle the security of the state. Under these circumstances, Hyder Ali rose to prominence. Hyder Ali was a military commander. He even served in the Carnatic Wars also. During Carnatic Wars, three Carnatic Wars took place, starting from 1746, first Carnatic War, then 1749 second Carnatic War, and in 1756 third Carnatic War. It continued till 1763. In some of the battles and wars during these Carnatic Wars, Hyder Ali also participated, because during these wars Nizam, Arcot both were involving, and Hyder Ali as a Sipai, he also joined the French side. So that means he was against the British. He worked under French authority. So Hyder Ali was also one of the Sipais during Carnatic Wars. He has learned very many tactics about modern tactics from European soldiers. So he has seen the tactics of British opposite side. He has seen the tactics of French authorities under whom he is working. When Mysore state, when his own state was under threat, he rose to the prominence and he tried to control the state affairs. Finally, in 1761, he gained more prominence after removing some of the earlier ministers. Initially, when he was working under Mysore administration, he became a Fauzdar of Dindigal, and he founded a arms factory also there with assistance of French. So initially he worked as military commander of Mysore. When he was Fauzdar, means law and order officer, of Dindigul region, he formed a ordnance factory also, and with the assistance of French. That means he was having good relationship with French people. Naturally, he is going to have enmity with British. In 1761, he revolted against Wadayars because of the threats from Maratha, Nizam and Arcot, and he assumed the authority to protect Mysore state. Once he assumed the power, he followed secular policy. He minted coins with Shiva and Parvati as well. So he did not follow religious bigotry, he followed secular policy, and he encouraged all kinds of people in his administration. After Hyder Ali, Tipu Sultan became the Sultan in 1782. Here, one aspect is Hyder Ali, even though he assumed full authority, he maintained the sovereignty of Wadayars. He did not replace Wadayars completely. Like in case of Mughals also, even though the ministers were enjoying full power, they never replaced the emperor. Someone should be there in order to legitimize their actions. Similarly, Hyder Ali also did not remove Wadayars completely, whereas Tipu Sultan, he removed Wadayars completely and he completely taken over the administration and assumed full sovereignty. That means he himself became the Sultan, no one is controlling his powers. He introduced a new calendar, he introduced uniform weights measures to promote trade. Gold coin named Mohor was minted by him. He even minted coins with his own name. That shows that he is the sovereign. On top of him, no one is controlling. So Tipu Sultan, he removed the mask of Wadayars. He himself became the ruler of Mysore. He was there in the affairs from 1782 to 1799 till he was killed in a battle. He even maintained relations with the other empires as well. He maintained good relations with the French people. He maintained relations with France, Turkey, Iran, Russia and China to develop bilateral trade. He modernized the army with the help of French people. So these are some of the aspects about Tipu Sultan in his administration. He expressed during his time period in 1789, there was a great revolt in French from people itself, that was French Revolution. In this French Revolution, important principles like equality, liberty, fraternity, they became slogans of people, and they have dethroned the emperor. They have even killed the king, and finally republic form of government was formed in France. He expressed his solidarity towards French Revolution that took place in 1789. A tree of liberty was also planted in Srirangapatnam to commemorate the success of the revolution. After the revolution became successful, he even planted a tree and called the tree as Tree of Liberty. He also enrolled himself as a member of Jacobin Club of France. This was a republican. Jacobin Club was a group of people who were aiming to establish republican form of government by removing the king. So that Jacobin Club was very popular at that time in 1790s, in early 1790s. Some French soldiers were there. Some French soldiers, they formed a group that is Jacobin Club, and when they approached to Tipu Sultan, he himself enrolled as one of the members of Jacobin Club. That shows that he was well aware of the developments of world affairs as well. So this is to show that the efficiency of Hyder Ali and Tipu Sultan, and the kind of administration and kind of interest they have shown in modernizing army and in modernizing administration. Now, under these circumstances, British were gaining prominence here. British already they have conquered Bengal region in 1757. In 1764, With Battle of Buxar, they controlled Bengal, Bihar, and Orissa. Now let us take a white sheet and we'll try to analyze in a sequence manner. Let us take a sheet. And in 1757, what happened? Battle of Plassey. In this, with conspiracy, British controlled Bengal. In 1760, what happened? French forces were routed in the Battle of Vandivash. And in 1764, in Battle of Buxar, now Bengal, Bihar, and Odisha all came under British control. Now they have also got the Diwani rights from the none other than Emperor Shah Alam to himself. That means now he is a rubber stamp for the plunder of Bengal, Bihar, Orissa. Now they have the authority of Emperor himself. Now the British have become very powerful in 1764, because in 1764 in Battle of Buxar the military might was shown, and in this the Emperor of Mughal Emperor Shuja'ud-Dawla and Mir Qasim, Indian powers were completely routed. So this shows that French military wise British were more advanced than French. English were more advanced than native military style as well. So this development took place in 1764. Now they were more confident. Now they wanted to control Mysore region as well. In 1766, they had a treaty with Nizam. The British had a treaty with Nizam. In that treaty, they said to Nizam that they are going to help in his wars with Hyder Ali. If Hyder Ali attacked Nizam territories, or if Nizam wanted to attack Hyder Ali's territories, British are going to help Nizam. So this is the treaty with Nizam in 1766. Now having security from all the sides, now with more confidence, now they started war with Hyder Ali. Hyder Ali. This was called First Anglo-Mysore War, because in 1767 English and Mysore both started fighting. That is 1767 was the starting point of First Anglo-Mysore War. Mysore, Hyder Ali. Now we'll see the First Anglo-Mysore War. Hyder Ali versus Madras governor. It took place. Hyder Ali defeated the British and made Treaty of Madras. In this battle, in this war, Hyder Ali showed great military efficiency and he captured Madras itself. And the British were forced to have a treaty with Hyder Ali. In this treaty, the British were forced according to the conditions of Hyder Ali. In this, Hyder Ali said to them that whenever he is attacked by Nizam or Marathas, British should help him, or whenever Marathas attack Mysore region, British should help against these people. So this was the treaty in Treaty of Madras. So in the first round of struggle, Hyder Ali became victorious. British lost the war and they were forced to have a treaty, that is Treaty of Madras. The second Anglo-Mysore War started in 1780. So what happened in between? In 1769, the first Anglo-Mysore War ended. Now after 11 years, in 1780, second Anglo-Mysore War started. This time, Hyder Ali versus Warren Hastings. He was the governor of Bengal. Initially, Hyder Ali gained victory. Later, he was defeated. He died in 1782. Tipu Sultan continued the war. Both settled differences with the Treaty of Mangalore in 1784. Now we will see what are the causes for the battle or wars. In 1771, here in 1769, the first Anglo-Mysore War ended. Now what is the treaty? Treaty is saying British should help Hyder Ali when Marathas attacked him. So in 1771, Marathas attacked Mysore territories, but British did not help Hyder Ali. So this shows that they were not as respecting the treaties of Hyder Ali. Now there is a grudge over here, and also he wanted to eliminate the British. Now gradually by 1780, he was already observing the developments in Bengal also. In Bengal, Warren Hastings was the Governor General, and the kind of exploitation is happening in Bengal also is known to Hyder Ali. Now Hyder Ali formed a alliance, triple alliance. By this time, Marathas, Nizam and Mysore, all three formed together and they fought with British. This is one of the greatest achievements of Hyder Ali. Now he tried to garner the support of all three native princes and tried to eliminate British threat from India. However, British also excelled in diplomacy. They removed or they alienated Mysore from Nizam and Marathas. Finally, they fought with Mysore alone. They made Mysore alienated and they forced Mysore to fight alone with British. But British and Hyder Ali both were very strong to each other and both could not gain much. In 1782, he died, Tipu Sultan came and he continued the war, but both could not gain over the other. Now both settled the differences with the Treaty of Mangalore. With this treaty, both tried to restitute themselves. That means the pre-war position is maintained. So both sides showed restraint. Now this has happened in 1784. And also why the British wanted to have a treaty at this point of time. This is also the time when American War of Independence was also going on. American colonies became independent in 1783. From 1775 to 76 onwards, American colonies were fighting against the British. Now they were having intense struggle with British in Americans in North America. During this time period, Warren Hastings was also having internal struggle in Fort William. In 1773, Regulating Act was passed by the British Parliament. This act says any decision should be taken by Governor General plus 4 members in Executive Council. So with 4 councillors and Governor General plus 4 more councillors, decision should be taken. But in this council, 3 members formed a team and they almost hindered every action of Governor General. Warren Hastings was not encouraged by 3 members of this council because to take any decision, it needs majority. The majority means 3 members should take the decision. Here 3 members in council, they formed a group and they almost hindered every action of Governor General Warren Hastings. So he could not function properly around this time period. So British administration was not in a good condition around this time period. Under these circumstances, Hyder Ali attacked British, and now they wanted a treaty. That treaty was Treaty of Mangalore in 1784. Now again, after 1784, there was a peace only for 6 years till 1790. In these 6 years, both sides were regaining their strength. The wars, whatever the treaty they are going to have, it is only for breathing time period. They were not going to end until one of the enemies going to be decimated. Tipu Sultan was also having the same mentality, and British also determined the same thing. Now Tipu Sultan versus Cornwallis this time. Cornwallis became the governor of Fort William in 1786. Now he wanted to eliminate Tipu's threat, because in 1789 French Revolution took place. Tipu Sultan was having good relations with the French. Now these French and English, they fought Carnatic wars in India. In American War of Independence also, French supported the Americans. That means their enmity is continuing. Now Lord Cornwallis was the one who surrendered to the American forces in Yorktown in 1781. In 1781, Lord Cornwallis also participated in against American War of Independence. So when American independence struggle was going on, British sent Lord Cornwallis to crush the rebellion, but himself was surrendered in 1781 to the freedom fighters of North American people. After few years, he was sent to India as Governor General of Fort William. Now he wanted to eliminate the French threat and the people who are supporting the French. So Tipu Sultan was the major enemy he considered, and he wanted to eliminate him. Maratha Peshwa Nizam also joined with British, formed a triple alliance. Now this time, during Second Anglo-Mysore War, Hyder Ali formed a triple alliance against the British. He joined Nizam, he joined Marathas, and all three fought against British for some time. Now this time, Lord Cornwallis formed an alliance with Nizam and Marathas, and now these three people started fighting against Tipu Sultan. The treaty among themselves, or the understanding among themselves, is if Tipu Sultan is defeated, his territories are going to be shared among each other. So Nizam will get some territories of Tipu Sultan, Marathas will get some territories of Tipu Sultan, and remaining territories are going to be held with British. So based on this understanding, all these three people joined together, all these three states fought against Tipu Sultan. Now obviously these three people were strong enough to defeat Tipu Sultan. Now with the Treaty of Srirangapatnam, Tipu had lost almost half of his territories to this alliance. But the British were very smart. They have given few territories to Peshwa and Nizam. Major portions were taken by the British. Now naturally, a person like Tipu Sultan is not going to accept this defeat. Now he is only waiting for another round of struggle to take revenge. That took place in 1799. Once again, both British and Mysore came together, fought together. So Tipu Sultan was this time Lord Wellesley. Lord Wellesley was imperialist to the core. He wanted to annihilate Tipu Sultan completely. This was also the time when Britain in Europe was struggling against Napoleonic danger. Napoleon decimating the coalitions after coalitions in Europe. In Europe, after the French Revolution, Napoleon emerged as one of the undisputed leader of this French Revolution. Now, Napoleon was trying to crush the enemies of the revolution. Now, they were under Napoleonic threat, Now Napoleon also planning to expand his authority to India. Under these circumstances, Lord Wellesley became the Governor General of Fort William. Now he wanted to completely alienate Tipu Sultan. So now naturally on both sides, Tipu Sultan is also waiting for revenge. Lord Wellesley is also determined to eliminate Tipu Sultan. Both clashed together in 1799. Tipu died while fighting on the battlefield. He became legend in the Mysore history and earned the title Sher-i-Mysore, Tiger of Mysore. So this is how. After this, a small kingdom of Mysore was created and given to the Wadayars. Wadayars were the people or the kings under whom Hyder Ali emerged as one of the undisputed leader in 1761. After Hyder Ali, Tipu Sultan, he himself became the Sultan. Now after the defeat of Tipu Sultan, Wellesley created a small kingdom of Mysore and given back to the Wadayars. So British were very smart and they wanted to maintain this authority. They wanted to maintain this mask of native princes authority. Remaining territories were occupied by the British. Subsidiary alliance system was imposed on Mysore. It was a system designed by Lord Wellesley to expand British authority into the native states. This subsidiary alliance means British will give the protection to the native state. Native state either give money in return or territories in return. So now the Mysore state is protected by the British. Now you can see the map here. This was the territory of Mysore during Hyder Ali time period. After Third Anglo-Mysore War and Third and Fourth Anglo-Mysore War, the territories of Mysore were reduced and some territories were given to Peshwa, and these were already British. Some given to Nizam, some given to Peshwa, means Marathas. These remaining territories were taken by the British. So this was the small, by 1805, small territory of Mysore was there, remaining surrounded by the British areas. So this is how the British started expanding their control. So by this time period, by 1800, Bengal, Bihar, Orissa came under the English. Northern Sarkars they have taken from the Nizam. Carnatic region was also under British. Mysore, except a small kingdom, remaining territories under Mysore. Now only remaining territories under British now. Now only major, this Nizam also with the subsidiary alliance system. With the subsidiary alliance system, Nizam also became protectorate of the English. That means Nizam almost lost his independence. His external threat should be taken care by British. That means British are going to have complete say over Nizam affairs as well. So they were controlling almost eastern tract of Indian subcontinent. Now major force they left were Marathas, and in the western side Punjab and Sindh region, and small pockets here Rajputs. And anyway, the Shah Alam II, Mughal emperor, he already became the pensioner of English with the 1765 Treaty of Allahabad. So now major area Punjab region 1799. Around this time period, Ranjit Singh was about to create a big empire, that is Punjab Empire, Punjab state. Now they are going to annex Sindh region and Punjab region, Maratha region also in the initial stages of 19th century. So by the end of 18th century, so by the time they reached 1800, they almost occupied the eastern tracts of Indian subcontinent and southern regions of deep south as well. Now we'll see how questions can be asked in this topic. After which war the Treaty of Srirangapatnam was concluded? Srirangapatnam, that is Third Anglo-Mysore War. We have to remember here important treaties: Treaty of Madras in First War, Treaty of Mangalore Second War, Treaty of Srirangapatnam in Third Anglo-Mysore War. Which Governor General was associated with the subsidiary alliance? Lord Wellesley. Tipu, who planted a tree of liberty in Srirangapatnam? That is Tipu Sultan. So in this way questions can be asked. So these are various dimensions about Anglo-Mysore Wars.